So some changes going on in here. The two young male ferrets, the Hobbs, the male ferret, Jill's being the females, they grew up with our female pure European polecat, or our mostly pure European polecat. And they've thrived together and they've loved each other's company, as ferrets do. Polecats, more of a loner. However, it's the breeding season nearly now for ferrets and polecats. These boys are entire, and that means we'll end up with baby polecat ferrets. I've got no interest in breeding ferrets or polecats, certainly hybrids, because at the end of the day, there's more than enough available from people that breed them and want to breed them, whereas we don't. So these are on display, but I liked having them with the polecat, so we could talk to people about the difference of the domesticated ferret from the European polecat. Anyway, we've split them up. I don't like having them castrated. We had the male Hob castrated, and sure enough, it took all his masculinity away. He lost loads of condition, and he died young from really low condition. You're taking all those hormones away, testosterone and so on. He was sent to be vasectomized, and the vets obviously didn't know the difference, which is quite a difference. I've been vasectomized, don't really want to be castrated, that's for sure. So they were a great sort of, here's a polecat, here's a ferret kind of comparison, but now I think we're going to keep them separate as long as they don't get out of this enclosure. And what we'll do, we will have some nice signage about how the ferret came to be, how it came to Britain, what its job is within falconry, and a nice big enclosure. I don't know how long, 12 foot, 16 foot by about 4 feet, well, by 4 feet wide. I know it's exactly 4 feet wide. I've been modifying things. Concrete around the outside, concrete blocks underground there, steel framing so they can't scratch for any wood. Front's been a nightmare. This was already an aviary for a small bird that's been disused for quite some time. We're putting acrylic dam in like we did in the polecat enclosure. A little bit lower it started, and they managed to jump up and get over it, so we've had to extend the height, which makes it awkward to get in and out, I guess, for us, and more awkward for them, hopefully. Ferrets are great things, they're great pets. I think they're the third most popular pet in America, house pet. They can be litter trained exceptionally well, just like a house rabbit or a cat. But this time of year especially, the boys giving off their real strong ferrety musk. Very strong it is too. Quite smelly in your house. It's not a horrible smell, but it's pretty pungent, it's pretty strong. Your friends will wonder why you and your clothes stink, for sure. It's a very lingering smell. And in America especially, but and in the UK now, you can buy ferret shampoo, ferret deodorant and so on. It's kind of bending it to really be suitable for you, isn't it? I don't think they want a smell of perfume. They've got their own perfume, which they love very, very much. Wow. But great pets. Mostly kept in hutches. I've kept them in hutches for a lot of my life, working them with nets to collect rabbits, and also for my hawks. That's great for 6 months because they're out working loads and they're getting loads of exercise. But for half of the year, much like a poor old rabbit left in a hutch, this very intelligent, very active animal is getting very little exercise. So if you can, a ferret court is always better. We're not going to have anything high level here. They do fall off things. If you're going to do a walkway, I've realised the hard way, you do need to cage it in. But here, nothing to enable them to get above the steel line. But the tube is their only way into their bed. And if you think about how many meters longer it makes their journey from just running over there, that's a great idea. They have no choice. They have to go through the tunnel to get to their bed. So just that alone, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 6 to 8 meters of distance they've got to run just to go really 2 meters across there. So that's really handy for them. Fresh water all the time. Food, we feed a dry mix and meat. Some people swear on only feeding their ferrets on a raw diet of meat, such as rabbit and day-old cockerels. I've kept them all my life. I can tell you now, a good quality cat food or a good quality dry dog food, they thrive on it and they live for years on it. And of course, they're supplemented with fresh meat as well. You pays your money and you takes your choice. Mostly dry food. you're not getting that awful fly problem that you'll get if you're just feeding them carcasses all the time in the summer. They're getting a balanced nutrition diet. At the end of the day, companies have spent hundreds of thousands formulating these diets for cats and dogs, and yes, they're not cats and dogs. They're partly, very slightly, I guess, omnivorous, but a carnivore, and they do very, very well on either diet. Keeps their teeth nice and clean, far less smelly, far less problems with flies, and of course, as I've just said, you can supplement that, of course you can, with fresh and raw meat as well, but that's entirely up to you what you feed them. Fresh water's a must, and this is a great enclosure, so you can see it's the breeding season, so this to us looks really horrible. Unfortunately, the smaller male is getting sort of slightly molested by the bigger male because it's a breeding season, and the way ferrets make love is they grab hold of each other's scruffs, and it will go scabby. You will get bite marks on the subdominant male. Look at him go on the subdominant. God, it's like being in prison. The subdominant males will get chew marks. The gills, the females, will get chew marks as well. Look at him go. I think he don't really mind it. That is part of what they do. It's natural. You don't get scars. They heal up. Look at that. Is this kind of pornography allowed on the channel? I don't know. Look at that. I had to check that he wasn't a female, that little one, but he's definitely not. Look at that. Get off him. Yeah. Consenting adults. Maybe not. Look away now. It's going to get messy down there. One thing I did think, changing the subject, oh no, is that their enclosure kind of looks like a really depressed hobo of Henry the Hoover. Henry the Happy Hoover, but no, we've got that instead. They're still at it. I'll leave you with that thought, that, don't want to say anything rude, I'll leave you with that thought, that bigger enclosure with stuff for their brains is better than a hutch if you can do it. Good God.